Hey Pisces, welcome to Honeybird Tarot. I am Shan, and this is going to be your June 1st through 15th general reading. So we're going to jump right in. And first, I'm going to get an oracle message for you from the Moonology oracle deck. All the decks are pre-shuffled. I just still like to shuffle a little on camera. Pisces, that seems right on target for you. Okay. All right, so full moon in Pisces. Yes, definitely right on point for you. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. Look at you already showing up in your own reading from the first card. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. We know that you, Pisces, you are the sign who lives in both the realm of spirit and the 3D simultaneously. And sometimes you can kind of get lost in that spirit realm, but you still have to be present here in the 3D. So let's see what the guidebook has to say about this. Okay. Have you been so head in the clouds that you've lost touch with reality? If so, take this card as a sign that you need to pay attention and make a concerted effort to move toward your goals. The more practical steps you can take, the better. It's time to find an inner balance between your responsibilities and your dreams. Meditate on your question, and the solutions to your issue may now come through very clearly. If you're in a tricky situation because you've been acting the martyr, this card will be a message from the cosmos to drop the act for everyone's sake. Attune with the moon by meditating every day and seeing what comes to you. Answers will come. Additional meanings for this card are you're in a super romantic but not super realistic state. Follow your intuition, it won't let you down. At worst, this card can herald the end of a dream. The person you're inquiring about is a soulmate. Avoid substance abuse. All right, Pisces, I'm going to get into your tarot, and this time I'm using the Dust to Onyx Tarot by Courtney Alexander. I will always use at least one deck by a Black creator in all my public readings, and it's Dust to Onyx this round. Messages for Pisces, please, Spirit. Messages for Pisces, please. Okay. All right, Pisces. So the first card you have is the Two of Blades. The Two of Blades talks about a decision that someone has to make without being able to see or without having all the information. This person in this card is wearing a mask, and the mask has no eye holes in it. In the traditional tarot, the person is blindfolded. So you're having to make a decision from your mental space, from a balanced mind, from your intuition, from your heart space, but without a lot of concrete information or evidence. And it may be a decision on whether to cut something out, because this is blades. Okay? And blades are mental energy. So perhaps it could be to cut a person out, or to cut out a particular way of thinking or a mindset. Okay? And the next card is Papa Coon. This is the King of Pentacles. If this is an actual person, it could be someone with Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo in their chart. Does not have to be, but this energy is someone who makes very wise decisions when it comes to their money and their material abundance. They are very good with their money. They have a very stable job and are a very hard worker. Someone who's very determined. It could be when out of balance, it could be a workaholic, or someone who only cares about the material things in life, or about their material wealth. But in balance, it's still a sharing energy, but this energy does not share to the point where they would put themselves in any sort of jeopardy of like being at a deficit or anything. They make very, very wise financial decisions, or decisions concerning their children, which can also be represented by Earth or Pentacles, and property, anything that is tangible that we ascribe worth to. Okay? The Nine of Gourds is here. The Nine of Gourds talks about total emotional fulfillment within oneself, or wish fulfillment. And usually this is a single person in this energy, but you can be in a relationship and still be in this energy, but you need to establish it while you are alone and then carry it into a relationship. But there's definitely wish fulfillment here and emotional fulfillment. The Two of Staffs is here. The Two of Staffs is about choosing between two paths and then taking action or taking steps along that path. And in this case, it is taking the high road, getting a higher perspective on something, and then acting out of that higher perspective, taking steps that align with the higher view that you have on something. And under the deck, we have the Eight of Coins. Under the deck is the position of something that is hidden, or either overall energy. And the Eight of Coins is about putting in a lot of work to manifest abundance. It could be an apprenticeship, or learning something in school, or on the job training, but someone is repeating some action over and over again so they can learn and get better at manifesting abundance. Right? So I feel like, Pisces, you or someone near you is trying to make a wise decision about money or tangible things. Someone wants their wishes to be fulfilled. They want to be emotionally fulfilled, and they're trying to take the higher path to manifest that. They're working hard at taking a higher path to manifest the abundance that they want. Okay, I want to clarify with the tarot of the Orishas. Anything else here for Two of Blades? Okay. So clarifying the Two of Blades, first we have Yemaya or Yemonja. She is the owner of all waters, the mother of fishes, the mother of humanity, and the Orisha. And when she comes up in the spread, she brings blessings, especially romantic blessings. She owns all the riches of the sea. The next card clarifying the Two of Blades is the Nine of Earth, the Nine of Pentacles. This is the happily single card. This is someone being totally self-sufficient. And in this deck, this person is newly single. She's just starting to sow her seeds, and she's doing so from a healed and balanced heart space while she's wearing all green. Her mind is clear. That's why the clouds are dissipating in the sky. There's barely any there. Her mind is clear, her heart is clear, healed, and open, and she is putting in the work to manifest abundance. The same thing that was here in the Eight of Coins. And this is successive or progressive energy. Someone is learning, repeating, like doing something repetitively to learn how to manifest abundance. And then they are being blessed by Yemonja, and they are taking what they have learned to actually manifest that. And they're doing it for themselves and by themselves. So maybe someone is trying to decide whether or not they should become single, and I feel like Spirit is clearly saying here that they should. Guys, Capricorn. So clarifying Papa Coin, Pisces, the first card that you have is the Six of Air in reverse. So the Six of Air talks about finding calm, finding peace on distant shores. And this deck especially is on distant shores, but in general, I think of it as the going home card. It's about moving from a difficult mental space into a clearer, more calm mental space. But it's here in the reverse. So I feel like either someone wants to go home, or someone wants to perhaps travel. They want to receive messages. Birds are messengers. They want to receive messages about moving to a calmer state, but those messages aren't coming in, or they aren't able to go home. They aren't able to travel and go to calmer shores, or they just aren't able to enter that clearer mental space. And if this is not a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo person who is in this energy, then it's someone who is just very wise about their money. Or maybe someone is wanting to move towards, go back to someone who has that energy, and they're not being allowed to go back to them and move toward them. The Two of Earth is here. This is about juggling or balancing. This animal can live in the water and on land, so in an emotional space and in the 3D realm, but it's also a very volatile energy, sometimes very paternal and loving, and other times very harsh and angry, and there's really no telling when they will fluctuate back and forth. So I feel like maybe someone is just in an unbalanced mental state. The Ace of Fire is here. So this is a new passionate beginning. Perhaps someone is wanting to go home or wanting to move to a more calm state, either in their mind or in the 3D, but they're juggling. They're juggling, and even though they want a new passionate beginning, they want to move boldly and fiercely towards a new passionate beginning. But someone is in a very defensive energy because the Nine of Fire is here. In this deck, this is a person who is undergoing some sort of spiritual initiation or coming towards the end of a time of spiritual maturation and just on the verge of becoming basically a new person. But they are still defensive and still healing, still feeling hurt, and still kind of in the this is the last night of this person's Iyawo year. So they're like at the very end of a difficult journey. Maybe someone is juggling or trying to decide whether they want to go back to someone where there was volatility, or go back to a place that, or leave a place that seems volatile, and have a new beginning with someone who is in a, who they see as being defensive. Why is the Nine of Swords here? So clarifying the Nine of Swords, which is about wish fulfillment. The Five of Air is here. The Five of Air is about conflict. It's internal conflict, and sometimes it bubbles over to be arguments with other people, and arguments where someone does not care about what is being said or how it's being said. All they care about is winning. In this deck, there's also this air of unseen danger. These five birds do not see this crocodile or this alligator here in the grass, and they don't see this hunter's rifle sticking out from the trees. The sun is here, so I feel like there are blessings coming in, but there is still something that is not completely illuminated, and all the happiness that could be had in the situation is not going to come in because something is not quite right, or something is not fully being illuminated. But this is still joy, happiness, abundance, just to a lesser degree. Undines or undines and mermaids here in the reverse. So this is romantic messages that someone maybe wants to send, but they're holding themselves back from sending. And coupled with the sun in the reverse, I feel like this is happiness that someone knows they could have, but they aren't reaching out. They aren't sending it. They aren't saying anything, and it's preventing this happiness from coming in. But eventually it's going to bubble over because the Eight of Fire is here. The Eight of Fire is all about holding back romantic feelings, and then it just gets to the point where everything just erupts. There are 8 volcanoes here in this card, and they're all in different states of eruption. The Eight of Fire would be the Eight of Wands in the traditional tarot. The Eight of Wands talks about fast-moving, passionate messages. So whatever these love messages that someone is holding back, when it bubbles over, those messages are going to start flying. They're going to move very, very quickly. Why is the Two of Staffs here? Anything else about the Two of Staffs? Okay, so clarifying the Two of Staffs, we have Shango. Shango is the deity who owns the drums, owns lightning, owns fire, owns dance. He's a very virile energy. The ladies love Shango. In this deck, though, he represents justice and about the balancing of scales and about fairness and equity being brought into a situation, and not in the sense that everyone involved is necessarily going to agree that the conclusion he brings is fair, but it is. And this card can also represent divorce. I'm sorry about that glare. I'm trying to see. Oh, it's actually coming from this side. My blinds are closed. There's nothing I can do about it. Let me see if I can adjust this at all. That's better. Okay. So the next card is the Ten of Fire. The Ten of Fire is walking on hot coals and having a long way to go too. Well, it's coming to the end of a cycle because it's a 10. Someone who has been walking on hot coals for a long time already, but it's coming to the end of it. And I feel like someone may be in a relationship where they feel like they're walking on hot coals, and Shango is coming in to end it or encouraging them to end it. After they're taking the high road, someone is getting a higher perspective on something and choosing a higher path. And choosing that higher path cuts out their burdens, cuts out this painful path that they've been walking on. So they go from walking on hot coals to walking on stilts. And dwarves and gnomes are here. Dwarves and gnomes are the spirits who lead initiations. So it's interesting that they're here also with the 9 of Fire. These are the spirits of the earth that bring knowledge, bring wisdom, and bring the abundance, all the abundance that the earth has to offer. Under the deck, and what's hidden or overall energy is the 4 of Air. So in the traditional tarot, the 4 of Air would be the 4 of Swords, and that talks about self-care, taking time to synthesize the messages that you've learned after having gone through a very difficult situation. Taking time to rest so that those messages and that information goes from being knowledge to being wisdom, goes from being something that you know in your mind to also being something that you know in your heart. And wisdom is knowledge that you implement flawlessly or seamlessly when the situation calls for it. In this particular deck, the 4 of Air represents an inescapable, dire situation. These birds are attacking this person, or it could be messages or some truths that you're getting that are painful and hard to digest, and they feel like they're killing you or attacking you, but you can't escape it because these are messages that you need. But in this deck, these birds are very strategically attacking this person, and there's no way that they can escape from them without some type of help or some type of assistance. So Pisces, I feel like there's a decision to be made, possibly around whether you should become single or not. And I feel like you will be blessed in your singlehood when you do choose to become single. And there's possibly an earth sign or some money-focused or career-focused individual who you could be wanting to move back towards or move to a calmer place with, but for some reason you are unable to do that. And it could be because of someone balancing or juggling or being in a volatile energy. But there is a new passionate beginning that awaits if someone is just strong, if someone can maintain their strength, and maybe someone is wanting a new passionate beginning with another person who is defensive toward them, and that defensiveness could come from whatever they may have experienced with them, could come from this volatility or this balancing, this juggling, or it could come from just the fact that this person is gaining enlightenment and is going through their own sort of spiritual initiation. There is wish fulfillment here after a time of unseen danger or after a time of conflict, and there could be absolute happiness and joy if someone would just open up and send these romantic messages or give these messages of love. But even though they are holding back, eventually it's all going to bubble over. And once someone gains a higher perspective and decides to take the high road, they will be cutting something out that is very painful and burdensome to them. and that will bring in wisdom and blessings, or perhaps it's the wisdom and blessings that are coming in to let them know that they need to cut out something that is burdensome. And Pisces, you or someone else is working very hard at all of this. And could be in a place of resting, or just kind of almost feeling like you've given up, or that there's nothing that you can do but accept what is happening and take it all in and rest with that. Okay? I hope this resonated for you, Pisces. If it does, please let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I hope to see you back here for your next reading. Okay? I love you. Pelu Ife.